Hi guys, I'm back to continue our Read Aloud, The Wild Robot Escape. Sorry it's been a few days since I've posted anything, but I will get back to reading to you today. So we left off on chapter 29. This chapter is called The Aftermath. Hilltop Farm was hardly recognizable. Buildings were flattened, equipment was missing, debris was everywhere. The farm had no electricity and the computer system was down. As Roz picked her way through the rubble, she realized she was off the grid. It would be hours before Mr. Sharif could track her electronic signal again. Was this the moment for her escape? No, Roz couldn't leave the Sharifs, not like this. Instead, she did what she could do to help. The tornado had left behind a winding trail of destruction. Thankfully, it hadn't destroyed everything. The barn was leaning to one side, but it was still standing. Roz forced open the door and found the cows nervously bunched together in the corner. "You are all safe now," said Roz in her calmest voice. "How is everyone feeling?" The robot was answered by a chorus of moos. "How do you think we feel? I'm a nervous wreck. My whole life flashed before my eyes." The robot raised her hands to quiet the crowd. "I am afraid the tornado destroyed much of the farm, including the milking parlor." The cows gasped. "But my udders are about to burst," cried Tess. "Would you like me to milk you the old-fashioned way?" said Roz. One look at the robot's clampy mechanical hands and Tess shook her head. "No thanks," she said. "I can wait." "An emergency crew is on its way," Roz explained. "But we cannot be in here while they work. Please follow me." Roz carefully led the herd outside, through the wreckage and down to the pasture. Some of the fences were missing and the herding machine was broken, but the cows promised not to wander off and they began grazing on the wind-blown grass. 3 massive trucks rumbled up the driveway. Doors swung open and a crew of robot workers climbed out. The lead robot checked in with Roz as the others began unloading supplies from the trucks. Then the crew got down to business. Power tools buzzed, debris was cleared, fences were mended, holes were dug, machines were repaired or replaced. Beams and walls and roofs went up. Equipment and pipes and wires were installed. Clearly, these robots were designed to work as a team. The Sharifs wandered out back and stood with Roz. They watched as their farm was rebuilt before their very eyes. Several crew members marched over to the house, fixed a hole in the roof, and replaced the shattered windows. Finally, rubble and tools were loaded into the trucks, and the robots fell in line. "Are you satisfied with our work?" the crew leader asked. "I am satisfied," said Roz. At those words, the robots climbed back into their trucks and drove away. Hours after it had been devastated by a tornado, Hilltop Farm was better than ever. Chapter 30 is called The Gift. The children walked into the machine shed, past rows of parked farm machines, and found Roz tuning up the milk truck. "We got you a gift," said Jad, smiling. The robot felt something like surprise when the boy handed her a box wrapped in silver paper with a big red bow on top. "Can you guess what it is?" said Jaya. Roz started guessing. A bucket? A rock? A hammer? A turtle? A can of... Okay, you can stop guessing, said Jaya. "Don't forget to read the card," said Jad. Nestled under the bow was a little card. Roz opened it and read the following words. They were written in Jad's messy handwriting. "Dear Roz, thank you for taking such good care of our farm and our family. We spent all our savings on this gift, so you better like it. Love, Jaya and Jad. P.S. Please tell us more stories about the robot on the island as soon as possible." "Thank you for the nice card," said Roz, "although that handwriting could use some improvement." Jad rolled his eyes and said, "Open your gift." The robot untied the bow and tore off the paper and lifted the lid from the box. Inside was a tool belt. It was made of dark leather and had a wide strap and different sized pockets for holding different kinds of tools. "We thought this might make your work a little easier," said Jaya. "It's designed specifically for Roz and robots," said Jad, "so it should fit you perfectly." The children helped Roz put on her new tool belt. Rather than going around the robot's waist, like a normal belt, it went diagonally around her torso. Jad looped it over Roz's left shoulder and down around her right hip. Jaya laced the strap through the buckles and tightened it until the tool belt was snug and secure across her chest. Do you like it? Said Jaya. I like it very much, said Roz. Thank you for this lovely gift. The children smiled and hugged the robot. They really seemed to care about her. Roz wondered if they cared enough to help her escape the farm. One of these days she would have to risk everything and tell them the truth. For now, however, she did the next best thing. She led Jay and Jad out to the oak tree and told them another story about the robot on the island. Here's a picture of the gift, the tool belt. And it's interesting because we think about characters, how they change and how they interact with each other. We talk a lot about that during our read aloud time. And suddenly these kids have become kind of connected to Roz, and she has become kind of like family to them, and they love her and they care about her. So Roz has this way of doing that with the people she interacts with. People remember her and they love her and they learn to really care about her. So it's my dog. Chapter 31, the campfire. Wood smoke billowed up from the backyard and drifted across the farm. Roz was building a campfire for the Sharifs. In her old life, the robot made fire by cracking special stones together until she got a spark. In her new life, she just used a lighter. The family sat around the rippling flames and gazed up at the stars. The dog stretched out on the warm ground. The robot was standing nearby, but her thoughts, they were far away. Her computer brain was scrolling back through memories of campfires and of stargazing with Bright Bill. Fluffy white marshmallows were skewered onto the ends of sticks and then roasted above the flames. The children laughed as their marshmallows caught fire. They liked them charred on the outside and gooey on the inside. Their father preferred his evenly browned. When the Sharifs weren't stuffing their mouths, they were chattering happily. That's the space station, said Jaya, pointing to a tiny dot that was slowly moving through the sky. I can't believe people live up there. Animals live there too, said Jad. The station has a farm. We should bring our cows up and show those space farmers how it's done. I think our cows are perfectly content right here on Earth, said Mr. Sharif. So am I. Once the marshmallows were gone, Jaya and Jad snuggled up with Oscar, stared into the flames and asked their father about the old days. But the children were too cozy to stay awake for long, so Mr. Sharif spoke to Roz instead. We made campfires all the time when I was a boy. The man poked the coals with his marshmallow stick and glowing embers floated into the air. The whole family would sit around like this, just telling stories. We had a nice life here. But then my brother and sister moved to the city, my parents got old, and then everyone just expected me to take care of the farm. I couldn't run this place by myself, he went on. So I hired Jamila. I did all the farm work and she managed the business. We made a good team. And then we fell in love. When Jamila was pregnant with Jad, we bought a few auto machines to help out. Then Jaya showed up and we bought a few more. If I'd have known one of those machines would be the death of her. The farmer's voice trailed off. Roz wanted to know more about Jamila and about Mr. Sharif and the rest of the family. But a normal robot wouldn't ask personal questions. So she kept her questions to herself and dropped another log on the fire.